Hello, Josh from Evermoore Films here with another episode of the Evermoore Wedding Vendor Show. The Evermoore Wedding Vendor Show is brought to you by Evermoore Films and the Evermoore Wedding Vendor Directory, where we have lots and lots of local vendors, over 1,000 local vendors listed on our website. And today we have Amanda from Whimsical Events, and she is one of the vendors on our directory. So welcome to the show, Amanda.
Hi.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so Amanda, I'm the owner of Whimsical Events. We do wedding and event coordination, which means that we make sure that your day is not a whole hot mess. We also do some design, which is fun. That's kind of the fun part. But yeah, we're just around to make sure that everything goes well.
That's perfect. So, Amanda, how did you get started in being a coordinator? There's always a fun story behind whenever someone
Kind
starts.
of, yeah. So when I was younger, I was always super creative. I love like arts and crafts. I took all kinds of different classes like through high school and all of that. And so I would always like make things. And I wanted that to like translate into what I did, but I didn't really know how to do that. I always worked like office jobs and was really good at like organizing, and spreadsheets are like my thing. I don't know why, but it's just something that I love. And so
I love a good spreadsheet.
yeah, yeah. So I had a friend that was a wedding coordinator, and she was like, you know, you're super creative, and I have brides that come to me, and they you know, they want to do like DIY stuff, but they need help. They need somebody to kind of guide them in the right direction, so they're
Right.
not making stuff that is overcomplicated or ugly or doesn't turn out right. She's like, because I
I've
see
never
them.
made anything ugly myself. I don't know what you're talking about.
It happens sometimes. Okay, Pinterest is just a sample.
Right? Pinterest
Not always
fail.
gonna
That's a
get
thing,
there.
right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like the wish version of Pinterest sometimes. So anyway, so she had me help her with some weddings, and I really loved it. And then I found like I started doing more and more, and it just turned into I wanted to do everything. Like I've always been like very much like a grower. I always want to like learn more and do more and move up and do more things. And
Yeah.
I just found that I really liked being more a part of the day. I have, I mean, quite honestly, a little bit of a bossy personality. So it kind of worked out
I mean, you
in
need
that.
that for a coordinator, though, because you have to boss people around. And
Yeah.
sometimes, in the nicest way possible, it's herding cats to get people to go where they need to go and do what they need to do at the time they need to do it. So, I mean, it's fantastic that you're bossy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I try not to be a jerk, but
There is a line in there
there's a
somewhere.
little bit of a line, and sometimes it's hard to like, you know, toe that line because it is a very stressful day for everyone involved. It's stressful for the bride and groom. It's stressful for their parents and their family. It's stressful for us because we're all working, and we want to make sure it goes well. And if
Right.
it doesn't go well, it always comes back on us. So, you know, that personality trait blends well with the job. So yeah. Anyway, so I ended up starting my own business, and my friend had moved away, and so I was like, well, I don't want to stop doing this. Like I love it. So I ended up starting my own business, and we've just kind of flourished. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So when did you start Whimsical Events?
So I actually started in 2017, I think.
Okay.
But I've only been in Bakersfield, so I like restarted. I've only
Ah,
been in Bakersfield for in December, I think it'll be 5 years.
okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
you started the business outside of Bakersfield and then moved to Bakersfield.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Perfect. Well, that's great. So as couples are, looking around at different coordinators, right, and kind of comparing, like, hey, do I want to go with so and so or so and so or Whimsical Events? What would you say sets you guys apart when couples are looking? What is the thing that's like, this is why I should go with Whimsical Events?
Yeah, so I've actually been asked that question by a potential client before, and I thought it was so fun that they asked that because nobody had ever asked that.
Yeah.
And the thing that I see from us that's different from other coordinators that they post a lot about and things like that are we stay the whole day. So we do like a full 12-hour day, which is plenty of time because events are typically only 6 hours. And I mean, like, there's no like videographer or photographer that's going to do 12 hours. So you don't really need more than that.
I mean, I've done it, but yeah.
It's not necessary.
Usually not.
So, yeah, no.
Now
So
Indian weddings, that's a whole different thing. But
Oh yeah,
we're not talking Indian weddings.
Yeah, that's a whole nother ball game.
Right.
That's like college versus NFL.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, we start, from setup until the end of the day. We're usually the last one. We're usually the first vendor there and typically the last vendor to leave. Just to make sure everything's good, which is good for, like, our venues really love that we stay to make sure everything's completed. They don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
The couple loves that when they're ready to go, like, all their stuff's already in their car ready to go. They can just kind of take off. They don't have to worry about it, which is nice. So
That's really nice.
I do like that. That's something that we've kind of always done. I like that we're local. We do a lot of stuff local. We also do like the Central Coast, which is where I'm originally from. And I do that at no charge, no travel fees, because my family is there. So
hey, there you go.
It's a win-win for me. So that's kind of fun too. I like to be able to do a little bit of traveling without going, too crazy, and save people a little bit of money that way. What else is different about us? We like to have fun. So I'm definitely different than some coordinators in that I'm not prim and proper. I'm going to be the one that's going to come have fun with you. I will bring you a shot after the ceremony. I'm going to make sure that we have a good time.
Yeah. Well, and every business has a personality, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's good that you know yours.
Yeah. I'm very set in who I am. I'm happy with
there you go,
how we play out with everybody. So
that's perfect. Okay. So here's a curveball question. Do you have any horror stories from weddings? Now, I obviously protecting everyone, anonymizing, but do you have any good stories to share of when things maybe went horribly wrong?
Okay. I mean, there's always things that go wrong.
Right.
But they don't always know about it, so I don't know how much I should share.
Well, and that's why I said, well, we anonymize and we protect everybody, but
yeah.
But
so
I'm sure you've got a story or two to share.
I do. Let's see. I mean, I had one wedding that was really crazy, and I think that we handled really well. It was really out of our control. That I will share. It was absolutely a horror story, and I think the vendors that watch your show will appreciate this one.
Right.
The clients might be terrified, but that's okay.
And then they'll know, okay, Amanda handled that, hire her.
Yeah. So we did a wedding a couple years ago, and the bartender that we had, so let me prelim this by, like, I am very particular about bartenders, and I was before this incident. This was a new bartender that I worked with, and it changed my rules even more so after this.
Why is it that every horror story involves alcohol?
It's dangerous. So there was not a whole lot of controlling how much alcohol was being served, especially to the bride and groom. And we ended up ending the night with them fighting. And neither of them could drive home. And so we ended up, my assistant and I each took them to their own places after the bride ran out of the venue down the street in her dress. So I picked her up on the side of the road and then took her to her.
Oh my gosh.
Her hotel, and then my assistant took him to his friend's house. It was a pretty interesting night. There was a lot more that happened, but that was kind of the gist of it. So that changed my rules a little bit. We no longer drive people home. It's in the contract.
There's always this one thing that happens and you're like, I never ever thought this would, and now it's in my contract. Like, yeah, yes, we all have those things in our contracts. Oh my gosh.
yeah, that was definitely a pretty crazy situation. But everybody got home safe. That was the biggest thing to me,
Yeah.
is that I wanted to make sure that everybody was able to get home, be safe, be okay, whether they were happy or not. Um, sorry.
Oh man. Yeah.
I have a little one of the best parts, we'll just kind of switch up a little bit.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Parts about my job is that I work by myself. So my baby comes to work with me.
Hey, there you
And
go. Hi.
this is Lily.
Hi, Lily.
And all my clients know her because she's always in the office with me.
There you go.
And she loves everybody. So whenever somebody walks by the door, she's barking. So if you hear them, that's why.
There you go.
I'm like, oh my gosh, she keeps barking. Shh.
Right. Hey, no, we embrace it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well that is a good story. It's a bad story. It's a horrible story.
It wasn't great. I mean, we've had other things that have happened, like, a bride will forget her garter, or I had a bride that forgot her whole bouquet at the house and we had to run back and get it. I've had the bridesmaid forgot the flower girl baskets with the petals in them at a wedding in Tehachapi. And so we were literally out in the garden, like picking flower petals out of the garden.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing, It was pretty funny. The venue manager came out and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I have to have petals. I'm so sorry. I'll buy you a new plant. And they were like, right. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That jogs my memory. Anonymizing here. We had a wedding, right? At some point since 2012, we had a wedding, and very sweet couple. The bride's veil was accidentally left at the house, Catholic church, and the priest was like, it's time to start the ceremony. And the bride said, I don't have my veil. I'm sending someone back to get it. We're going to wait. And the priest said, we're not going to wait. And the priest started the ceremony. And everybody walked down. The groom walked down. And the bride said, I'm not coming until my veil gets here. And it was a solid 20 minutes of awkward silence.
Everybody's just waiting.
As we're waiting, and the priest was not happy, and you could tell the groom felt awkward. I don't know if the groom knew in the moment what was going on. Like, why isn't my bride? Like, she was standing in the back. She was standing in the back, right there, waiting, and it was just like she was like, "No, I want my veil. I'm not coming without my veil." And someone went to the house and got the veil and whatever, and she just said, "No, this is my wedding."
Oh
and I'm like, I'm not even sure where to classify this story. It's just like, wow, that happened. The veil came and the bride came and they went on with the ceremony. But
I feel like the groom was probably like, did she run away?
I know, right? I know.
I feel like everybody was probably thinking
that.
Yeah,
everyone is like, what is going on? And I can't remember. It was not recent enough that I can remember all the details. But I want to say the priest made some comment at some point, like, well, I guess we're waiting on the bride or something, like, because it's just like, he looked like a fool standing there. And because he said, no, we're starting the ceremony. She said, no, we're not. And it was just like train wreck. So that was a moment, that
we had a similar situation, but like kind of the opposite. Last weekend, actually, our priest for the wedding was over an hour late. Yeah, so we sent everybody to the church, and they didn't really have a lot of holding spaces, and so everyone was just kind of like, we don't know what to do with ourselves, and the guests for over an hour. Yeah, so luckily we had a very large gap in our timeline.
Good. Oh, I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, there goes photos, there goes sunset session, there goes, and the photographer and the videographer are like, ah!
Yeah, I think the photographer was having a little bit of a panic attack.
Right.
But because she had like a scheduled kind of large break since it was so early in the day. But it ended up working out just fine. We were a little bit behind for the day, but honestly, like, nobody really notices that kind of thing. They're just enjoying the time. And,
Yeah.
That's why we just, make things for people to do. We make it work,
Right.
That's why when your vendors are good together and they know how to work well together, they can just on the fly make things happen. Like, we got back, they got through some of the pictures, but not all of them. So they wanted to leave halfway through dinner to go do photos.
Right.
So I talked to the DJ and he's like, I'll just get people on the dance floor. And so I'm like, okay, let's do that. And, he did a great job, and nobody even noticed, anything. Because as soon as somebody has a problem, I'm who they come to.
Of course.
They see the girl in black running around and they're like, are you the coordinator? What is going on? What's happening? There's not enough water. Like, the bathrooms don't work.
Right.
So as soon as anything happens, they're straight to me. But yeah, no, it still ran really smoothly.
Oh man, yeah. That is great. But yeah, it's always on the coordinator when something doesn't go right.
Always.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is a great time for our sponsor break. And when we come back, Amanda is going to share with us some advice for couples who are looking for a coordinator. So this episode is brought to you by NAL Entertainment. And NAL Entertainment is a local DJ company who specializes in DJ services. And that's what they do, and they do it well. And we've worked with Nate and his team many times over the years, and they've always done a fantastic job. And so if you're interested in getting a DJ, you can check out NAL Entertainment. The other sponsor for this episode is Story King Studios. Story King Studios, if you don't know, is my other video production company. I have Evermoore Films, where we do wedding videos, and we also have Story King Studios, where we do videos for businesses. We do corporate and commercial films, and so if you need a TV commercial, promotional video, all kinds of video production, whether that be something simple like a promo or something high-end like a really nice TV commercial campaign, we do all of that. So that does it for the sponsor segments, and we are right back with Amanda. Amanda, what advice do you have for couples who are looking for a coordinator for their wedding?
I would say definitely ask them exactly what they do. A lot of people come with questions, and most people just don't know what a coordinator actually does.
Yeah.
And every coordinator is a little bit different. Some will provide extra services. Some it's just one person. Some it's just a big team. Some coordinators are there no matter what time you start, what time you end. Some have a particular amount of time. The biggest thing that people ask about is setup. Typically coordinators don't do setup. So that is like huge. That is like one of the biggest things that people ask. Typically they don't. We have a little leeway with our setup. I know you had more decor recently on, and I know I haven't watched the segment yet. Don't kill me. And don't tell her. Well, she knows. She keeps asking me if I've watched it yet.
Right.
But we partner with her. And so anything that people rent from her in particular, my team will set up, because she doesn't do a whole lot of setup stuff. She says, I hate that. I don't want to do it. And I'm like, that's fine. I hate rentals. I don't want to do that. Right. So
it's a marriage. It works.
It's perfect. It works great. I'm like, I'll just do some office stuff from you for you. And then, I don't want to do rentals. I hate them.
There you go. Right.
She likes to clean, and I'm not that person. Like, I don't want to sit and clean stuff for hours. No, thank you. But I will say she is very, very good at making sure everything is clean. It is one of her biggest pet peeves. So if you ever rent something from her, guaranteed it is going to be spotless.
That's good. Don't come look in my gear closet. I am not that person. Okay. So as we're kind of coming down towards the end of the episode, a lot of couples have budgeting questions, right? And they're trying to figure out, what's the budget for my wedding, and how much should this be, and how much should that be? And everyone's on, looking around at these online guides. They're usually completely wrong about like, oh, it should be this. Here's the national average for X. And you're just like, really? That's a national average? Like, where did that number come from? Anyway,
just in the middle of the country, or
right. Like, I guess average in the sense of if we stick it all in a mush pot and pick a number out, I guess. Anyways, so when it comes to wedding wedding coordinating, what sort of budget range would you recommend that couples are looking for in general as they're starting to budget for a coordinator? And then we can talk specifically about working with Whimsical Events.
Yeah, sure. So I think it really depends on what you need from a coordinator. All coordinators do different things,
Yeah.
right? And most coordinators will offer different packages. So I think it's something that you definitely want to look into in the beginning so that you can incorporate that into your budget from the beginning. A lot of people think about getting a coordinator, even if it's just a day of. At the very end, I get calls like a month before the wedding. And
Right.
at that point, they're like, oh man, I didn't even think about it. This wasn't in my budget. So I think it's really important, to research and look into that from the very beginning and not wait until the end. Don't think that you can do it by yourself if you want to have a stress-free day, because that's not possible.
Right. Right.
Everybody's going to ask you questions. Josh is going to come to you for questions. Your
Yep.
photographer is going to come to you. Your florist
What
is going to come
time
to
are
you.
you going to get in your dress? And then what time are
Yeah.
you? But what about? Yeah. Oh my
The
gosh.
florist asked me if this should go here, if it should go there, or did you want to have just beer at your cocktail hour? Were you doing mixed drinks? The bartender's not here. When are they going to be here? All those questions. So if you don't want to
Yes.
hear those questions, find a coordinator from the beginning. But again, it depends on what you're looking for and how much help you actually want. And I think as far as like a budget, like you want a number for them, I would say, plan on somewhere between probably like between 1,000 and like 5,000, depending on, what you want within
Right.
what fits your budget and what fits your needs.
Right. Don't come calling for a coordinator for $500.
If you find a coordinator for $500, they're either going to literally kill themselves to do the best thing that they can, and they will probably still not do a fantastic job, but appreciate them because that means that they just started and that they are trying their best.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
We have similar advice about videography.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is helpful. So, and then if couples want to work directly with you or your team, because I know it's not just you, how would they go about that? And
Sure.
and what sort of budget ranges do you work in?
Yeah. So we do 3 different packages. We do just a day of package. We do a design and day of package, which is the couples. I have a lot of brides that come to me with their Pinterest board and they're like, I want this, but I don't know how to get to this. And that's really what that package is for. And then we do like a full planning package, which is really helping with everything. We're going to send you out to caterers. We're going to help you find a venue. We're going to make sure you're staying within your budget because that's one of the easiest things to do. And so with our packages, they run anywhere from like 1,000 to about 4,000 or 5,000 with, there's some dependency on, how many guests you have and which one you choose and all those kinds of things. So yeah. And then we have our website, which is just Whimsical Events with an S, .net. Or on Instagram, it's _whimsical.events_. And those are really the best way, or you can reach me on my phone at 805-616-1290. I kept my 805 number because then the client didn't save my number, know that it's me when I call.
Right. Well, perfect. You did a 2-for-1 and got the contact info I was going to ask you about next. So that's great. Okay, Amanda, final question. Who else would you like us to have on the show?
Oh man, I would love to have you do Juliana Home. I don't know if she's been on the show.
Yeah, we've invited her, but she hasn't done it yet. So.
Okay, well, I'll push her then.
There you go.
She's fantastic. I literally have some of her bouquets sitting in front of me from last weekend that still look beautiful. And she's very good at, and I tell her this all the time. I will come to her and I'm like, I want it to be like this, but then kind of like this, and I want it to do this. And then she's like, okay, I got you. And then she shows up and that's what happens, which is great because, I see it in my head what I want it to be, or what my client wants it to be, and she can visualize that with us.
That's great.
Without too much guidance. So I love that about her. Man, you've had so many people already. Have you had, how about Dan with DJ Dance Entertainment?
We have
Dan,
not had Dan on.
Dan's
Yeah.
fantastic. He's one of my favorite DJs. He's really up there.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, he literally does a fantastic job. So he would definitely be one of them. Also Chon with Harris Style Entertainment. He's a fantastic DJ.
We've not had Sean on.
Yeah, he's great too. Him and his wife do that. She does their like photo booth typically.
Yeah.
He's super, super sweet. One of my favorite DJs as well.
Perfect.
Who else can I think of? Man, I feel like the pressure's on if I don't mention somebody.
Well, that's why we only asked for like 1 or 2, because yeah, the pressure would be on. You'd have to get on the directory and like, here's all 1,000 people on the directory.
Let me go through my phone really quick.
Yeah.
I do have another one
Okay.
that people don't really know about, and I will 100% promote. Monroy's Catering. I don't know if you've had them yet.
We have not.
They're small, very small business, but I have just sent them so many people. It's insane. And their food is fantastic.
Okay.
Their tasting is fantastic. They are very like family oriented, and they will make anything that you could possibly ever want. So cool. They are great. And then of course I have to give one to Mike from Nirvana Estate, because that's my guy. So definitely, if you're looking for a venue, that's a great place to go. He's a busy guy, but I would love to see him come on the show. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, we love working at Nirvana, so would love to get Mike on.
Yeah,
if we all bug him enough, maybe he'll sign up.
I'll try my best.
Oh man, that's good. Cool. Well, thank you, Amanda, for being on the show. I appreciate it. And I hope that all the audience, who's mostly vendors and some brides, is enjoying listening to it. I know when we started the show, we're like, I think lots of brides are going to listen. And then it's like all the vendors are like, hey, we love your shows. I'm like, okay, that's fine too. We knew it was both, but you know, we didn't really know which way it would shift. I'm like, I totally think it's vendors.
I think it's so fun to have, like, to be able to talk or hear and listen, because you feel like a part of the conversation when you watch a podcast. And I feel like it's so fun to hear other people's stories. Like, I know I really like watching there's a photography like duo that does a podcast as well, and they just talk about,
you talking about Vendor Table?
Yes, I love them.
I know, right?
I really love them, and they're just so brutally honest about stuff, like they'll talk about things, and I love watching it because it's like, that's how I feel, but like, I don't want to tell anybody that.
Right. And they just say it, and you're like, yeah, that's it.
I'm like, oh yes, share. So I love to see other people talk about things that, we're all thinking already. This is what we do. Like, when this is your full time, this is your life. Having your own business, working in the wedding industry, it doesn't ever stop. Yeah. My phone rings from 7 a.m. until 1 a.m. It does not ever stop. And that is every day of the week. So, it is really, it can be kind of consuming. So it's nice to have an outlet to kind of go and see and watch other people and relate to people on things that you're dealing with a lot as well, which is fun.
Yeah. Super fun. Awesome. Well, thank you, Amanda. Appreciate you being on the show.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for watching another episode of the Evermoore Wedding Vendor Show, where we talk to local vendors. If you like the show, subscribe, comment, subscribe, subscribe, and review. Leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts, on all the places where this is at. This is on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on YouTube Podcasts. It's on YouTube as a video podcast. So all of those places, like it, watch it, subscribe it, leave us reviews and comments and all that good stuff that makes it pop up in the algorithm, because, we want more people to see this, right? And share it. Awesome. Well, until next time, enjoy, and we will see you on the next one.